guys, it's Anna, and for this week's video I'm going to be talking to you about my life experiences, I guess you could say, and I want to make this into a video series. I want to make it into different videos I can film whenever I want about the different things that I've been through and how they may or may not have changed me, or you know, how I felt during those times and whatnot. So let's just start this off with experiences episode 1, sleepovers. So in this episode I'll be talking to you about my first ever sleepover, and my first sleepover with a friend, like at a friend's house. They're both very different. You might not get how they're different or why they're different, but they really are. So my first ever sleepover was when I was around 4.5, I guess, turning 5, and it was for ballet class. And I was so excited to sleep outside my house, like in a house that wasn't mine. I was so excited to do that, and little did I know that my thoughts of how it was going to be and how it actually turned out were two different things. So there were around 3 incidences that happened during the sleepover that turned it from pretty average to not very good at all. And those three were I couldn't eat anything, and that was mainly because I was so used to eating Indian food and spicy food and all that sort of stuff. So food at the sleepover was very bland and I didn't enjoy it too much. So that was one thing. Somebody else drank my drink, and that was a pretty big deal for me because the drink was something that I actually enjoyed and something that I wanted to savor, I guess you could say. But someone else drank it, mistaking it for their cup, and I did not like that. No. It was freezing cold throughout the entire night, and this for me is something that happens to me quite often because I get cold very easily. I'm the type of person who, if everyone else is roaming around in, say, singlet tops and like shorts, I'm wearing jeans and a jumper because I'm kind of cold pretty much all the time, and I always need to have extra things. So while some people can roam around without bringing a jacket with them, I absolutely cannot. I always need to have a jacket. So even just on my bed, I have an electric blanket, which is like heat from where I'm sleeping. So if I'm sleeping here, the electric blanket is under me and it gives me like nice warmth. And my quilt is actually very warm as well. So both of those mixed together give me like really warm night's sleep, and it's amazing. And at the sleepover, I remember I was sleeping in a sleeping bag, which wasn't warm enough for me, and I was absolutely freezing. Usually if I'm sleeping in a sleeping bag, I layer my clothes, so I might wear really thick pajama pants and a really thick jumper to bed in my sleeping bag with nice thick socks so I don't freeze. But at that point in time, I didn't have a super thick pajama set on, so I was absolutely freezing in the sleeping bag. So that wasn't nice. Because of all that, by the time I got home, I was so tired and so hungry. I was starving. I remember eating everything I possibly could and being so excited to go to sleep that night so I could sleep in my own bed. Fun fact about all this that I just said, I don't remember a single thing that happened during that sleepover, but my mum does. She's the person who gave this information to me, so I don't remember anything that I just said happened at the sleepover. My mum told me what happened through me telling her what happened after the sleepover. Does that make sense? Did you guys get all that? Anyways, so I don't really remember the sleepover at all, but apparently because it was my first, it was one of my worst sleepovers. My second sleepover was at my friend's house. She was a friend from school, and this is different because my first sleepover, the one from the ballet class, that I didn't really have any close friends there, and I've had plenty of family sleepovers, so I'll sleep over at a family friend's house or a relative's house. It's not that big a deal, but this was my first sleepover at a friend's house, a friend from school. Now, my friend had older brothers, and I remember that before leaving, my mum had told me and brought awareness to me about molestation and like having courage to stand up for myself and like call her if I need to, or talk to my friend's mum if I needed to, if I was feeling uncomfortable by the brothers or something along those lines. When my parents went to drop me off at her house, my mum went and checked to see where her brothers were, where my friend's brothers were. As she was checking, she found out by my friend's mum that she had already sent them to a sleepover because she understood that the girls might feel uncomfortable having older brothers around in the house, and so she sent them for a sleepover while the girls were here. And my mom found that such a big relief. She found that to be a relief moment because she thought that I would be uncomfortable during the whole thing, having boys around or something. I don't quite remember. I was probably, I guess you could say, 6-ish, maybe turning 6, so I was probably 5 and a half. I was probably 6 around about. And she wanted to make sure that none of the brothers were there and whatnot, just so I don't get uncomfortable. But it just goes to show how parents pretty much think exactly the same way. So the thoughts that my mum was having, my friend's mum was probably having the same sort of thoughts, and they both went through the same thing, and how to prevent girls from feeling uncomfortable. They both thought of the same things and what would happen and this and that. So I found that very, very interesting. Overall, that sleepover was really good. I really enjoyed myself. It was a makeover sleepover, so I remember doing makeup with a whole bunch of my friends from school, doing makeup, doing hair, and all that sort of stuff. It was really fun overall. Now, when I look back at that sleepover, I find it understandable. I understand why she did that, yet at the same time, I find it a little bit stupid because now we're such close friends that if I ever go to a sleepover with her at her house, it's no big deal, even if her brothers are there. I've slept over her house, I think, once or twice while her brothers were in the house, and it really was no problem. So I understand that she was doing it for awareness, but it was really nothing to worry about. After these sleepovers, I've been to several others, and I've realized that there are a few things that I always experience no matter whose house it is, no matter how close I am to my friend or how comfortable I am in the house. I always experience these few things. First thing is loss of appetite. It's not the fact that it's because I'm in a different house or because I'm not comfortable being in that house. Moreover, it's just the fact that the minute I walk into the house, I don't get hungry anymore. The sort of hunger that I had in my own house, I would eat so much food. It's kind of crazy. But the second I walk into someone else's house for a sleepover, my appetite just drops. I find myself not eating that much. I find my friends' parents asking me all the time, like, you haven't eaten much, are you feeling okay? I'm feeling great, I'm just not that hungry. And they would be like, oh okay. But it's something that always happens to me, regardless of the house, regardless of the situation, regardless of anything. I always find myself not being that hungry. I don't know how, but that just happens. Second thing is, this is a bit of a, I guess you could say it's a lot of information, so too much information, but I feel awkward using the toilet longer than a minute, say for instance. If I use the toilet for longer than a minute, I start feeling weird. I start feeling like everyone's saying, oh, what is she doing in the toilet for so long? I don't know if this is just like something stupid that I think, but I feel awkward. So the minute I walk into the toilet, I try and get out because I can. I walk in, get out type of thing. And that's really weird for me because usually I don't get that. At my own house, it doesn't really matter. I take as long as I need to, which is a bit weird. Anyways, but at other people's houses, I always feel the need that I need to get in and get out really quickly. I don't understand why, but I always feel the need to do that. My third experience that I always get at sleepovers, regardless of the house, is I never get a good night's sleep. Never ever. Maybe I just fall asleep late, maybe I wake up too early, whatever it is, I don't get a good night's sleep because I'm usually very cold, or I'm constantly tossing and turning, or I don't know what it is. I usually can't sleep, and maybe that's just a thing of I need my own bed for that sort of stuff, but I don't know. I don't find myself sleeping very much at other people's houses, and yeah, when I was really little, I used to love socializing. Every chance I would get, I would be like, oh, we have to go to this party, Mom, I have to go there, you have to take me there, this, that. Oh, I have a sleepover next week, I have a party the week after, and I have a get together with friends the week after, and I would always be so busy socializing with people. Nowadays I've realized that even if I miss out on some get-togethers or some sleepovers where my friends are, like, it doesn't bother me that much. It may be because I have some other commitment, that's usually the case, but I don't find myself getting as mad or as annoyed as I used to when I was little. When I was younger, I'd get really annoyed if I couldn't go to like a sleepover or a party. I'd be like, but everyone else is going, why aren't I going, type of thing. But these days, maybe it's because I've matured or something, I don't find myself getting that bothered if I can't go. I would say, no, I'm sorry, I can't go, I have some other occupations, and that's about it. I wouldn't be too fussed about it. People would be like, oh, that's so sad, you can't come. I'd be like, yeah. But I personally don't get too fazed by it. I don't know why, but it's just maybe because I've grown and my mind is like, well, there's always next time, I guess. But I don't really mind if I miss sleepovers these days, and I used to a lot when I was little. And I also think it's because these days I enjoy my own company a lot. So just being by myself and, you know, sitting in my room, maybe watching videos on YouTube, watching Netflix, watching a movie on the TV with like popcorn and a blanket or whatnot, just being by myself, I really enjoy that. I enjoy that time. Like, maybe in that time I'll film a video that I have to do. I might even plan a video. In that time, being alone is very comforting for me, and I enjoy being alone. And a lot of people find that a bit weird, and they may or may not call me a bit antisocial for that sort of stuff, but I personally don't mind because I really enjoy my own company and I don't mind being alone. I don't mind it at all. I always have something to do, I always find something to do, and I really enjoy it. So that was it for the first episode of this series, I guess you could say, called Experiences. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. The button is right over here. Also, let me know how you feel about sleepovers. Do you enjoy them? Do you hate them? Do you sort of feel a little bit iffy? Do you go through the same experiences I do at sleepovers? And let me know what you experience at sleepovers. So that's about it. So I'll see you guys all next week. Bye.